couldn't poop on you.
They didn't though. There were so many and no one pooped. Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenz and you're watching Get Germanized, Spain versus Germany versus Canada versus Brazil with Rodrigo from Alemanizan, who is also from Brazil, yes. And Dina from Canada, who also knows stuff about Greek and French culture. So there we go. Let's go.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Get Germanized.
So with my two guests today, we're going to talk about, well, the Spanish culture, because Dina and I just visited Barcelona. I know that's not all of Spain's culture, but it's part of it. And so we wanted to talk about what we noticed. And Rodrigo here has also been to Barcelona a couple of years ago. Right?
Yes, I am not at all a Spanish expert about anything.
That's fine.
But yeah, I was here in the neighborhood, so just like, yeah.
Yeah, we're in Berlin, by the way, at the moment, at an Airbnb. So if you're wondering why it looks so different and maybe a little bit weird, we're relying here totally on sunlight, which is hopefully going to stay for a while longer.
Sunlight.
Yeah, cloudy skies of Berlin. That's what we get. But yeah, well, first I want to talk about what we first noticed when entering the country. Basically, I mean, how we entered the country is with a nondescript flight company, a cheap one, right?
A
very
one
cheap
of those.
One of those cheap ones. And because we wanted an especially cheap flight, we flew to Girona. Or Girona?
Gerona, I guess.
Gerona.
He asked me because as a Portuguese speaker, I'm closer to Spanish.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, but I don't know Spanish, much less like Catalan. Or...
Yes, but I mean, yeah, and Catalan, we'll come to that later as well. But anyway, when we entered Girona airport, first thing we noticed, of course, is that it's smaller, right? What did we notice again with the little crates that they had there?
That you had to carry everything, literally.
What?
Yeah, not carry, but...
Well, you had to like put all your stuff in and then carry it around, which is interesting.
Instead of being on a conveyor belt like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Germany and I guess in other bigger airports, I think Barcelona airport would probably have it the same way. There's a conveyor belt and you just need to put your stuff in the crates. But in Girona airport, Girona, they had like the crates on a table and you needed to fill every crate. And they also wanted your electronics in a separate crate. They wanted liquids in a separate crate and then your other stuff in a separate crate. So I ended up with 3 big crates stacked. In one of my backpack was in one of them as well. It was really heavy and then I had to stand there for like 8 to 10 minutes. And that was like, could have done better, I thought. But I mean, it's probably because the airport was smaller.
Yeah, and that's usually the case with these air companies. Like even here in Berlin, is in Schönefeld. That's, for me at least, on the other side of the world. It takes me almost 1 hour to get there. And that's how it usually works. They are so much smaller and less well equipped than the others.
How did we get from the airport to Barcelona?
With a bus.
With a bus. How did you like the bus? What did you think about the bus?
It was okay. The bus ride was good. It was easy. There was no traffic.
Yeah, it was pretty easy as well. We bought this ticket for, I think, 24 euros a round trip from the airport to Barcelona and then back from Barcelona to the airport to Girona. So that was a normal price.
I would say it's normal price. Like if you do the same kind of things on other cities, it's usually like about 20 bucks for the round trip.
All in all, what did you guys think about Barcelona's prices in comparison to the rest of Europe?
Well, as Dominic mentioned, I've been there, but it's been already 8 years. So I'm sure it's not the same at all. Like probably went up very much since I went there.
I think they adapted to the prices for all the major European cities like Berlin and stuff like that. Like a cocktail, for example, in most places was around 7 to 10 euros, kind of, for example.
Okay.
And like paella for 2 people was in one place we only paid 18 euros, right? But in the other place they wanted over 30 euros. But was that also the seaside restaurant or? Yeah, so I mean that makes sense, right? They would charge more money by the seaside, especially the closer to the ocean you get on the quay, I guess you call it. The quay? No?
The bay?
No. No, this thing that goes into the ocean.
Like the stone thing.
What is that called?
I don't know.
The quay? The quay? I thought something like that.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. I don't know the name.
Anyway.
A dog? No, it's not
a dog. A dog. Sorry, a dog. Woof. Anyway, we went there with the bus. Okay, all right. So, and the bus journey was nice, and it wasn't like a Flixbus or anything like that. If you don't know what a Flixbus is here in Germany, I mean,
in Europe, almost like in the world now.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere.
They're growing, I suppose.
Yeah.
But their buses are really nice. They have Wi-Fi, air conditioning, all of that, right? And that was just a standard bus that we were on, nothing fancy. It was fine, though. It was completely fine. I mean, the journey took like an hour to an hour and a half, something like that.
Well, for North America, it's like a Greyhound bus, basically.
Ah, okay.
Same thing.
Or like a normal line bus here in Germany. Not actually, well, more like a school travel kind of bus that we have here in Germany. Not like a bus you would find in the city where you can stand inside. Not like that. But yeah, we went there, arrived, and found our way with Google Maps to the Buddy Gotik where we stayed, and at that specific location that I won't mention because we have a story to tell as well. Because the first interaction that we had with a Spanish person, we talked to Rodrigo about this, and I don't think that you think it was on purpose, right? It was like what
I was
happened.
not there. It's difficult to say.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say. But what we experienced was we got in there, and there was this nice lady, nice older lady, and she spoke. What was your first impression of her?
I thought she was really cute.
Yeah, and she spoke different languages, French, Spanish, and English, and probably even more. From what we noticed, the people at that hostel spoke a lot of different languages all the time. So the first impression was good, right? And then we had to pay the money because we paid a little bit with credit card, and then you have to pay the rest in cash. So it's often the case at hostels, and it was about 300 euros or something like that for 5 nights, which was fine. And then I paid, and I said like, here, I think this is correct, like recount it probably just to be safe. And she did, and then said like, over 100 euros is missing. And I said like, really? I can recount it again for you. But she like kind of hid it behind the counter so I couldn't see it. And she was like hesitant to give me the money back. And she just started counting the 20 euro bills in front of me, but the rest of the money was still down there, which was like 3 50-euro bills or something like that. I was like, wait, what about the 50-euro bills that you still have there? Oh yeah, it's all here. I was like, what? You didn't even count the 50-euro bills just now. So what was that all about? Yeah. I didn't say that, but I didn't say anything actually about that incident, but it felt very much like she wanted to steal money from us, which is really sad if that's the truth. Probably, maybe it's just an honest mistake. I don't know. I really can't tell.
Yeah. Maybe for you it's easier to say because maybe there was some tells on her body language.
Yeah, it was because she hid the money and I couldn't see it, and then she counted it there, and then she didn't really show me all of the money. That was just very suspicious. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, it's a very unfortunate way to start a day.
Exactly.
Trip.
It felt it felt a bit sad because that was the first person that we had a real conversation with in Spain. But I know that not all Spaniards are like that, obviously, if that was even the case with that one. Because the rest of the people were friendly for the most part, I thought at least. Especially to tourists, I suppose they try to accommodate tourists because that's the main income of Barcelona, I guess, as well. All in all, people were really nice after that as well. But what did you notice when you first came to the city?
It's been so long, but I arrived through the train station, not the airport. I was doing one of those U-Rail trips, when you buy one ticket and then you can travel around Europe. It's very convenient. I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I remember I got a bus and I was very surprised. The buses were great. They were telling all the stations and stuff, like very modern. Everything was very clean. So I had a very good impression of the city, from the start. And I went to a massive hostel. I don't remember if it was good or not, my interactions with people. But it was overall, I have very positive memories in general about the people, about the city.
I remember when we went to the ocean side, right, that one day, and we took a bus tour first and went around the whole city. I filmed everything. You will be able to see clips throughout this video, most likely. When we went to the ocean side and stepped along the quay or quay, whatever it's called, I don't remember. Then this really extroverted person, I'm not even sure if he was Spanish or not. Was he, you think?
Which one?
The guy that had this aggressive sales tactic.
Oh, the restaurant guy. No, he was Bulgarian.
Bulgarian. Okay.
Didn't he say he was, and that's why he knew a bunch of languages?
He said, "I know every language."
Every language.
And then he started speaking a little bit in German when I said that I'm German and stuff. But he came up to us saying like, "Hey, where are you from? What language do you speak?" And really like trying to get us into the restaurant, right?
I hate that so much, and it's so common on these very, very touristic places because it's a huge competition, right? There's restaurants everywhere, so they want you to eat on their restaurant.
Yeah.
But it's so annoying. I want to go to a restaurant that I want to go, that I like research it or something.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, we didn't really have a plan for that part, and we were hungry anyway, so we were just looking for a place to eat.
Sure.
And what did he say again when he like approached us? Like, what's the food like and stuff? Do you remember?
I don't remember what he said exactly.
I think he said something about the best food. We have an Italian chef,
Like,
the best pizza here,
like
the best everything.
The best paella, the best,
The best everything. Oh yeah, very
chef is from
trustworthy.
Italy.
Actually, that's what I noticed as well. Everyone who wanted to sell us their food said, like with a straight face, "Oh yeah, it's a very good, like the best food in Barcelona." And it's like the ice cream guy even said, like, "Oh yeah, the oranges come from the mountains here somewhere, and the basil is also from somewhere local and stuff like that." I'm like, maybe you never know.
It's very hard that every place is the best. Anyway.
Yeah, because you said they get like usually batch deliveries for these ice cream places and don't really make it themselves, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Usually.
I mean, it didn't look like they had a lot of space to make ice cream there anyway.
That's the thing.
Might have still been local deliveries, so you'd never know. But it just felt very sales tactic-y, which is fine because it is a big competition in Barcelona, right? I enjoyed it. Sometimes actually the guy at the ice cream place was really nice.
The sales tactics.
Yeah, I like talking to people. I always engage with them. But what I didn't like so much, but it was still nice to them, were all the weed dealers and drug dealers that approached us in the Body Gothic. There were so many. And they, like, something else I noticed was at every corner, they were, especially in the evening hours, there were people with like a 6-pack of beer trying to sell you beer. Always the same brand of beer as well, these red cans.
Like the Estrella Galicia.
Probably that. I didn't know.
It's a very famous Spanish one.
And they stood there and tried to sell us beer. And then a little bit further, there was another dude mostly that said like, "Hey, coffee shop." Or they would even...
Coffee shop.
Yeah, they said coffee shop.
Amsterdam style.
Yeah. I mean, weed is illegal, I think, still to sell in Barcelona. I think they decriminalized it. And you are able, because we looked this up, because we wanted to know like if that's super illegal what they're doing or not. I think you're able to have like plants at home for your own stuff, but you're not allowed to carry it, I don't think, and to sell it or something like that in the open. You're not allowed to consume it out in the open at least. And so I was always like, no, man, it's fine. And then it was like, but I got the best stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you do, but no thanks. But that's just something I noticed. So very aggressive with that as well. Not unfriendly, but very persistent.
So not only they have the best ice cream, the best pizzas, the best paellas, they also have the best weed.
Yeah, apparently.
Barcelona, man, is the best place.
I was wondering because they didn't seem to approach everyone else like... Maybe because of your hair, you look alternative with your tattoos and stuff like that as well. That's why I was wondering.
You like walking like that? Oh, tourists! Like, boom, like a tourist stamp on your face.
And especially because the weather was a bit bad. Sometimes I was wearing like my hood like this. I looked a bit sketchy as well.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He wants weed. He wants all the weed. No, but I mean, like I said, it didn't bother me so much as it was a little bit interesting and maybe even a bit funny because I enjoyed talking to those people as well, just saying, "No, man, sorry." But yeah, I didn't mind as much as you probably did with the interaction.
It's pretty aggressive. I'm not used to that sort of thing.
In Canada, it's definitely not a thing, right?
No, it's, no.
What, do they have that in Brazil at all?
Not that aggressive, at least not on the places I'm used to. I'm from the south of Brazil, Porto Alegre, and it's not like a tourist spot, so we don't have this kind of competition or something like that. We don't have this aggressive people outside like, yeah, come in. For me, this is a much more European touristic spot things, especially on the city centers of the major hubs. It's always like that every time. And
I'm pretty sure that Spanish people watching this will say, yeah, dude, you were in Barcelona, of course. Exactly. Come to some other place and it will be better or something.
And you know, another thing they're probably going to say, how dare you eat paella in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Paella is not Barcelona.
Yeah. I mean, we were
food.
Yeah, we were only in Barcelona though, right? So I wanted to experience what I could experience.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I ate paella for the first time in my life in Barcelona. Yes, I did. At the Giron, or what was it called? No, not Giron. The place we ate it at the square.
I don't know what the square is called. The restaurant was Ocana or Osana. I'm not sure how to...
Yeah, something like that, right? And I thought it was really yummy, really good. I actually really like paella.
Of course it is. They're not going to give like shit.
Yeah.
But maybe the traditional one from someone else. Sorry, I forgot where it's originally from. It's probably better.
Most likely, but I still enjoyed your
Yes.
food, your cultural food, actually.
Yes.
So, and the other food that we had, there was tapas, obviously.
Tapas, yeah.
At Sensi, I think the shop was called, or the restaurant was called. We looked up like the best shop in Barcelona, and everyone said Sensi. And it was really hard actually to get a reservation at first. I mean, really hard. We had to try it 2 times. So one day didn't work, and then the next time it was in the middle of the week. They only had a spot at 9 p.m. in the evening, and it was still super crowded, even though it was in the middle of the week. So
that's when the Spaniards are starting to eat dinner.
Yeah, that's what we talked about as well, right?
Because in Germany they start eating dinner like 6, 7. That's a little bit too much for me because I'm more like a 8:30 guy.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, the German style for me is too early. Oh yeah, let's have dinner. That 6 is good for you. Like, come on, man.
When do you guys have dinner in Canada?
About the same time, between like maybe 5:30 to 7:30.
5:30?
Holy shit, that's
really
early.
early.
That's tea time.
Yeah, sometimes it's early, but no, it's pretty much about the same time.
Okay.
What about Greece?
Oh, they're late as well, right?
Yeah, they're pretty
dinners.
late. Well, I think it's a Mediterranean thing in general.
I guess so.
Just relax.
Yeah, everyone's
exactly.
just chill. It's always so chill. It's like, we'll eat when we eat.
Yeah, that's something we notice as well, right? The days start very late in Barcelona, and they're just chill in general, most of them at least. Very relaxed, maybe not so much in the touristic areas because they have to hustle a lot. That's like what I said at the restaurant that we were at the sea, where I said I respect the hustle of all those people because they're like, working to get us in, because it reminded me a bit of Thailand, the touristic spots there where I went to, when they are outside of the shop and with like a menu and trying to get you in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We experienced it a couple of times, but that dude, the Bulgarian dude, was definitely the most aggressive one.
Yeah.
The others gave up pretty quickly.
He was nice at least. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a violent.
Yeah. No, these people, they do that, and I think personally that it's a little bit annoying, but they are usually doing it with a smile. So they try to be very positive. Of course, they don't want to scare you. They want to lure you in. So they need to be, hello, yes, welcome, come in.
And the food actually was really good.
It was. He wasn't lying.
No.
Okay, so he got you.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did. It worked. Okay.
I have to admit, I ate pizza there. Because I had paella the day before.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I didn't eat any seafood in a restaurant by the sea. I feel bad, but I mean,
Well, when I went there, I was super broke. I was backpacking, so I didn't eat paella because it's kind of an expensive kind of dish. So for me, the one that really was the best one was tortilla de patata. That's like a huge omelette with potatoes inside. It's super tasty. I actually ate it on the Central Market. I think it's by the Central Market by the main street. It's been a while, so I kind of forgot. But yeah, it was very central and it was super delicious. And I know this is a very traditional like Spanish dish, and it's all over Spain. It's kind of tortillas. And you could put a lot of stuff inside. You can make with onions and potatoes and all kind of good stuff.
It sounds really nice. I didn't have that, no.
Yeah.
But something else I noticed is the food sizes, the portion sizes are big sometimes. Like the paella, for one person, they gave me like a whole pan full of rice and seafood and stuff. And I mean, I finished it, but man, did I feel full afterwards.
That's why they have the siesta.
Yeah, exactly. And
Then you just take a nap. You eat like a maniac and then you take a nap, and then after a few hours you're good to go.
you need to have a nap after that almost. It's so much food. That's why I also didn't eat paella again the next day, because it's just so much. And so many carbs, like all rice and stuff. But it's really nice. It's really delicious. So I can't complain there. Something else we noticed was that people seem to be very proud of their heritage, especially the Catalan people, right?
I guess so, yeah. Like much like in Germany, the different states have very different ethnicities and cultures. So they're really proud of their particular ones. Especially in Catalonia, they even have the big issues about trying to separate and stuff.
Yeah, they were suppressed for a long time, right? The language as well. They weren't they even allowed to speak it? I don't.
Yeah, I think so. I think that during dictatorships or something, they tried to suppress it, but they came back with a vengeance. So now they want to be their own thing, especially because it's a very rich area in Spain, like Barcelona and Catalonia in general.
And we saw them have a display of their cultural heritage, like these what was it called? These human towers, human pyramids. There's a special name for it that I looked up before, but I already forgot again. I'm sorry.
It's a Spanish name, so.
Yeah, it's a Spanish name with like a Y sound, double L. Anyway, we saw that. We walked past it the other day. What did you think about that when you first saw it?
That was really interesting.
But what did you think it was?
I thought it was just normal like street performance.
Oh, that was a pretty crazy street performance.
I mean, they seem to have so many people that do street things, like the living statues. Is that what they're called? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We have them in Germany too.
Yeah, but they have much more.
The living statues?
Yeah, I think so.
We saw quite a few.
You don't see it everywhere, at least. Not in Berlin, at least.
I mean, it's super cold in Berlin too. That might be a reason, because you have to stay still like this all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But anyway, the pyramid, we filmed it as well. You'll be able to see it right now, probably. Was just super impressive. At first, I didn't know what was going on. I just saw people wearing these certain colors, these uniforms, so to speak. People standing around them, a big crowd. And, we stood there for a minute, and then they started like climbing each other. And I was like, oh, it's something like that. That's so cool. But we didn't know what it was all about. And even looking it up on the internet, we only found that it is to, show pride in your culture, in the Catalan culture, right? But why did they start that tradition, I wonder? Maybe you guys can tell us in the comments below. That's actually something that I'm really interested in. If you have any idea.
I saw a very interesting also, like particular cultural thing. I went in January when I went there. And they have this, I think it's a New Year's thing, or maybe Christmas/New Year's thing, called El Caganer. Do you know what it is?
No.
It was a huge statue of like a dwarf-like person taking a huge dump.
Really?
Yeah, like a massive, and one of the kind of like those cartoony poops, like spirally. And they have all kinds of, and they sell it like politicians and famous people just taking a dump. And it's like, it's a character like that represents, I think, the new year. So like a fertilizing new year, something. It's like something related to that, right? I think I'm not completely wrong there, but you can correct me on the comments as usual.
That's awesome.
El Caganer. I think that's the name as well.
That reminds me kind of, at least, of the carnivals time here in Germany, where we have these wagons that with these papier-mâché figurines or whatever. These political.
In Köln, right?
These satires and parodies of like politicians and stuff like that. They display them in rude poses as well and all of that, right?
Yeah, so but it's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. It's like of course they do with the famous people to sell to tourists, but like the main character is just like, oh, it's a cool thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like pooping is not a bad thing for them.
Okay.
It's a very positive thing. It's like fertilizing.
Yeah, it's natural, so
exactly.
why not, right? That's cool. Other than that, we saw a lot of flags everywhere. I think Catalan is even the main language by now in Barcelona, at least, right? That like before Spanish, I think. I believe so. I hope I'm not wrong on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I understand, because I said in my comments on Instagram, for example, I wish I spoke more of the language. And someone else said, which language? Yeah, because to be honest, I didn't even think about that at the time, that Catalan might even be higher than Spanish in this case. But obviously I meant Spanish because that's what I learned in school, like a little bit at least. And so I tried to speak it. And people, actually what I noticed as well, were really happy when you try to speak their language. I remember this particular lady at the Hard Rock cafe when we went to the shop there and bought a souvenir, and I said ahora, and then she was really like, what, ahora? So you speak Spanish? I was like, solo un poco, like only a little bit. And she was like, oh, that's cool though. Like she smiled and was like happy to talk to us afterwards as well, right? We talked about bands and stuff because
she was cool.
Yeah, she was cool. Nice. And you said they have ahora in Italian too,
yeah, right? Like allora.
Allora.
It's like so. It's like a
filler word.
Interjection. Yeah, they used a lot. Allora.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't even know why I usually would never use that word, but it came to mind in that situation. Same in Germany.
Yeah, of course.
When we notice that someone comes here trying to learn the language, speak the language at least a little bit, we're always happy to talk to you in German, but we switch to English very fast as
well. It's very annoying. And then something I do is that I don't give up. So like I'm buying something or whatever, then I ask for it in German, and then the person noticed my accent sucks, and he starts speaking in English.
No, it doesn't suck.
But I don't give up. I don't change to English. I keep speaking in German, and he keeps replying in English. So it's like a crazy person conversation, but it works because everybody understands each other.
Oh man, that's funny as hell, actually. I can just see that stubborn Germans just keeping talking in English. Well, I mean, I guess we do it because we want to accommodate the other person.
Of course, yeah.
And also because we want to practice our English. But yeah, you will probably make the experience once you move to Germany.
Probably, yeah.
Have you noticed anything like that with language-wise, like in Germany versus like Spain or whatever?
I guess it's kind of similar because in Spain they were just as accommodating for English people as they are here.
They did speak a lot of English, that is true.
Yeah, a lot of other languages too. In the hostel they were speaking French. I spoke French to them, which is really cool.
But probably more in the touristic spots, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Because she spoke to you in German too.
Oh yeah, she did actually. The other older lady, not the one that stole from us, but try it. No, but all in all, they seem to know a lot of languages, especially the ones that work in hospitality and like tourism and stuff like that, which they need to do probably as well anyway. And probably only hire people who speak a lot of languages in those sectors. But we also were thinking about if people in Barcelona or Spain in general, maybe at this point, really like tourists, or if they just depend on them for money and don't really like tourists because they're so annoying at some point.
Yeah, I know that Barcelona is one of the cities, such like Amsterdam, that they basically stop to do any advertising. Like it's kind of that, oh, come to our city, have fun. It's like they're focusing on other cities or other regions of the country. We try to spread out a little bit because it's too much concentrated in one spot. Especially if you go there during like late spring, summer times, it's insane. It's too much.
Even now it was pretty full.
It was.
And it was like April.
Yeah, like off season.
Yeah, and cold. Not cold, but colder.
Yeah, I can only imagine in the summer how many people.
It rained.
Are there?
and people were there like a lot.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
Yeah, this is the kind of place that people go in, like they rent planes and buses to go there, and then you have the Asian crowds that go and they take over. That's something that doesn't happen in Berlin, at least not right now, because Berlin, I think, doesn't have this, especially for Asians, this European allure.
Yeah, more Munich.
Yeah, exactly.
Heidelberg and stuff like that.
Then people go there because that's what they expect of like Germany.
The stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fairy tale castles, fairy tale buildings, all of that. I mean, Berlin at some point probably looked a lot prettier before the war.
Yes, I guess. Before it was destroyed.
Exactly. I mean, that's just the one of the reasons why it looks so different now and more modern, I would say, I guess, in a way, more grey in a way as well.
True.
Where was I going with this? I forgot completely.
Excessive tourism?
Yeah, the tourism. Well, yeah, because we also saw graffiti that said like, oh, F you tourists and stuff like that. That's what got me thinking, actually. They must be really annoyed by us.
Oh, there was also a lot of like bachelor parties.
This kind of tourists also.
Parties. Lads parties.
Lads on tour, basically.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah,
all the time.
And I also noticed in the hostel that we stayed at, a lot of younger men, really loud, in the middle of the night coming home and stuff like that. In the streets, they were screaming and singing. And I was like, damn, if you live here as like a local, I would hate those people with passion.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
There's many different kinds of tourism, right? You went there to enjoy the city, see the architecture, eat some good stuff. But these people go there just, it's cheaper than like London, so let's go there and it's warmer. And we are going to party our asses off, and this happens on many cities, like especially on East Europe. Like in Budapest, that's very common. People go there just because it's much cheaper, than they just get wasted and scream on.
Same with Prague, I think. Right?
Prague, yeah.
Eastern European countries are cheaper, I guess, in general when it comes to, because I think the income is lower in general in those countries.
And they have their own currency usually, not euros, so it's much cheaper as well.
And Barcelona is pretty up to, like, on par with Germany, I would say, at least, like, Barcelona, not Spain in general, probably. I think Spain in general might be a bit cheaper, maybe, in the countryside, maybe, I don't know.
Could be,
I really don't know. But, I mean, it would make sense as well that they increased the prices. That would make sense, because there's so many tourists would be stupid if they didn't. So prices are pretty similar. For a coffee, for a latte, we paid like $4.50 in one place, right? Or $4. euros something.
Wow.
And in Berlin at the barn, we went there. Do you know this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a fancy place.
Yeah, that was very expensive as well. It was like €4.50 for a latte. I was like, okay. But yeah, so prices are quite similar in the big city, but also more so in the touristic areas of the city. The further on the outskirts and out of the touristic cities centers you get, the cheaper it becomes.
Really cheap, yeah.
Yeah. Where did you notice that again?
It was that little cafe that we passed by. It was like a coffee and a pastry for like $2.50.
Yeah, or even €2. I think a croissant and a coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have even gotten a coffee in the city center for that. So it just makes sense, I suppose. But price-wise, similar to Germany, big cities here at least. Prices in Brazil probably also lower a bit.
Depends. If you go to a major touristic hub like Rio de Janeiro, then it's going to be very expensive. Even for European standards, they're going to be very high prices. But also we have like huge portions and the volume is amazing there, but the prices are very high.
How is it for locals? Like, is it does it become harder to live there for locals? Like in London, for example, where the people who lived in London now have to move out of the city because it's just getting too expensive?
Yes, that happens. That happens for sure. Of course, there's different layers of prices. So there's the touristic areas, then it's going to be super high with like a high markup for the tourists because the gringos, let's get their dollars and their euros. It's amazing. For them, it's still affordable, but for the people there, they just don't go.
It's a lot of money, right, for people there.
Exactly.
But they must earn more in those areas than or?
Yeah, hardly. Not amazingly well to really justify for the locals.
That's what I was wondering, because like if they don't earn more and the prices are so high, they can't even live there themselves anymore.
No, they basically need to live a little bit further away or some like more residential areas, and then.
I mean, it's the same anywhere, really, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the touristic spots are always even here, like in Berlin. We're not so far from Sony Center, Potsdamer Platz. It's way more expensive than the rest of the city if you go to eat on those restaurants, and they're going to be way worse as well. We
were actually wondering how much this apartment would go for, probably monthly. Because it's nice. It's not too big.
It's very nice, the structure.
And then like a nice apartment building with elevator, with like a nice entrance hall, very secure feeling. Yeah. I don't know, over 1,000 probably.
Maybe, and it's like 40 square meters, I would guess. Maybe a little bit less. It's kind of smallish, but maybe 1,000, something like that. Yeah,
but the closer to the city center, obviously, the more expensive it gets. In Barcelona, in Brazil, in Germany, anywhere. And activity-wise, what we noticed that you can just do a whole lot of stuff in Barcelona. There were like escape rooms everywhere. They had like a VR center, I think, at some point as well. And like really cool stuff to do, right? We're walking around, lots of nice parks. I think the city in general is pretty green. I'm in Berlin. Berlin is much nicer in the spring and summer, I think.
100%. Oh, 100%. Like we need to endure January and February in order to enjoy Berlin the rest of the year.
I mean, it's the same with most of Germany, to be honest. Gray for a long time, and then as soon as spring and summer gets here, it's nice. But Barcelona, generally cool city in like nature-wise as well. Like has a lot of green spots. We went to this labyrinth park.
Yes.
What did you think about that?
That was cool. It reminded me of like a small Versailles. Which was cool.
Fancy.
In France,
It was very well kept. Had like a hedge maze, like a labyrinth kind of thing. I thought about bringing my Minotaur mask, but I forgot. So chasing the kids around there. There were actually kids having like a jog in the maze, and they were there for like what, an hour?
They were having so much fun though.
They were just running in the maze, so the whole time the dad was just standing outside and like taking the time of their runs through the maze the whole time because. When we got there, I was like, let's wait until the kids are gone and then we'll go in that thing. And then we came back after exploring the entire park and they were still running. I was like, holy crap.
It's a lot of energy.
Not bad. But you do have a lot of green, cool spots like around the city as well. Because it's like surrounded by mountains, which I thought was amazing. When we arrived at the airport, or like actually in the city because we took a bus, right? That was the first thing I noticed. It was like really cool looking, like Jurassic Park kind of, like in the mountain regions. It was really nice. Yeah, I said, cue the Jurassic Park music. And I just love nature. That's why it amazed me so much, I think. And they also have like a military castle that you can go to. It's called damn it, I forgot the name. Something Mont. And you have a cable car that goes up to it and you can see the city. But we took a hop-on, hop-off bus tour just so that we don't miss anything, right?
The main attractions.
Yeah, and so we saw most of it. We went to Sagrada de Familia, I think it was called.
Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada Familia. Damn it, almost! But that was amazing, obviously, the whole architecture by Gaudi. Either you love it or you hate it. Dina doesn't like it so much.
Not my favorite, no.
I thought it was kind of cool. Sagrada Familia, definitely super cool.
Yeah, it really feels, at least for me, that they planted a church seed in the ground and just growing.
That's what it looked like. Yeah, like organic.
It looks organic. It looks insane. It's like there's nothing else in the world like it, I think.
I think also because he planned it in so much detail, right? Every section, very much work went into it. It became Gaudi's life work, basically, the architect. And he died before he could finish it.
Like hundreds of years before, and it's not even close to finish. It's probably never going to be finished because when they finish, they will need to repair the other spots or something like that. So it's continuously going to be in works for forever.
Similar to
thousands of years.
Cologne Cathedral.
Yeah, I guess so. Now they're still renovating it and stuff.
Always. And the Big Ben in London...
Yeah,
also, I mean, I can't compare that to...
Yeah, it's much smaller.
Sagrada Familia, you went inside. So.
Yes, inside is very cool because even this organic motif kind of still works inside of the cathedral because even like the big columns, they're all made to look like kind of trees. So it's like a forest of concrete inside and it's super well lit. There's much more windows than your average church, especially like the older ones that kind of dark and gloomy, but not Sagrada Familia. It's very bright and colorful. The vitrals are very, very pretty. So I really recommend to go inside. You didn't because the lines were...
Damn it, now I regret not going inside. That would have been cool probably, but the line was insane.
It's understandable.
I just try to imagine what it must be like in summer, the line there. Did you go in summer?
No, it was January, so the opposite of summer. Yeah, it was not so bad. Like the lines the city was not so packed.
But wait, didn't you say you wore shorts and stuff like that when you went there?
No, I didn't. Okay. I was mentioning this week in Berlin.
Oh, so, I misunderstood.
Sunday. Yeah, I think you make something. But it was unnaturally warm for January, at least because I was coming, I think, from Germany. So here in Berlin was all covered in snow, and then I got there, it was like 19 degrees. So it was very nice.
Yeah, in comparison, it was nice still. Like it was 16, 17 degrees when we went there. It rained every now and then. There was wind that was pretty cold. But coming back to this cold in Berlin, like 4 degrees something, I kind of miss the weather there. And the host of the Airbnb actually told us, oh yeah, don't worry, it's going to be like 20 degrees tomorrow. And I was like, what? Really? And I looked it up, 4 degrees, rain. I was like, why would you tell us that? It's a lie. But I think he confused it with the week after because next week I think it's supposed to be warm again here.
Yeah, that's true.
Great. That's when we're going to be home again. Fantastic.
Well, it's going to be warm at your place as well.
Yeah, most likely. Hopefully. So another nature that I noticed in Barcelona was, the whole orange tree thing that you got there. I completely forgot that you do. I was super amazed by it. I was like, wait. Are those orange trees? Yes, there are orange trees there. And of course you have orange trees. Of course you do. But I forgot. It was super cool.
Well, here in Germany, when you go to Kaufland or something, there's like aus Spanien.
Yeah, oranges from Spain. Yeah. And parrots. You guys have wild parrots, which is amazing as well. I mean, are they parrots or are they some other subspecies of
those green ones? I think you can say they're parrots, I think. Not sure. Not a biologist.
I'm pretty sure people would tell us when we get this wrong. But
they are very pretty.
Yeah, very nice. And some of them had actually a collar with a number, so they must belong to someone other than the pigeons we saw.
Maybe the government just keeping track.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, something I noticed as well. the pigeons, especially the ones in the parks, look much nicer than in Germany, in the cities.
Healthier pigeons?
Healthier. Because I feel like they will have the fruit to feed from, right?
Could be.
I don't know.
Maybe if they have more green space to hang out instead of on train stations.
Well, if we had nicer conditions in the cities, I suppose, then they wouldn't be so feared by some people. For example, Dina hates them.
The birds, no.
Yeah, I don't like pigeons as well.
See, I'm not
I really don't like them, yeah.
Doesn't like pigeons. Yes.
Perfect time actually to show that one scene that I filmed. We walked through this square, I think it was Catalan Square or something like that, where there were like just hordes of pigeons. People were feeding them as well. They were like they all at once going whoosh, everywhere. And I was filming inside this thing. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And Tina was like running from it. He was like, no.
They're gonna poop on you.
They didn't though. There was so many and no one pooped.
That's something I learned. That's a very valuable information for everybody. Pigeons do not poop while flying.
Oh, good
So
to
you
know.
don't need to be afraid while they're flying, but when they are like hanging out by the edges, that's where the danger.
Oh, okay.
Lies.
Good to know.
Yes.
That is valuable information actually.
But the seagulls, they do poop while flying. So if you see a seagull flying, then you need to be careful.
And seagulls also steal fries from your hand and stuff like that when you hold it. They're pretty, well...
They look cooler, but I think they are like even worse than pigeons, if you think about it.
I think so.
They're just prettier.
You just don't like birds in general.
No birds.
That's
no
fine.
birds. Okay.
Fair point. The parrots, what do you think about the
They're
parrots?
cute.
Oh, yeah, see?
They're okay.
Yeah.
So they're little and green.
Yeah, they're so
They're cute.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, animals. I mean, I'm not sure what else is there animal-wise in Spain that we don't have in Germany. Do you know?
Not aware, but not in Barcelona, I guess. Like a huge urban area is not like very...
Something I noticed actually that was quite funny. We filmed that as well when we were in the Labyrinth Park, what we saw there at the edge of it. Do you remember? Not an animal, but a structure, a prison.
Oh, yeah.
We thought it was a school, like you thought it was a school. I'm like, that looks more like a prison because its fence was like inverted so that they can't climb it and stuff like that, right?
Really wild kids over there.
Yeah, and so this really super nice, well-kept park, beautiful, and next to it like this massive prison with these...
It was really funny.
And I think in the part of the park that was closer to the prison, I heard every time we went there, I heard like someone scream. So I think they screamed at the people in the park from the prison windows.
How dare you have fun?
Yeah, how dare you? Get me out of here. So that was interesting. That's just something I noticed. Like I'm not rating the experience. It was just interesting, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. All in all, Barcelona, a really cool city. Maybe you guys have some tips what we should do there next time. If you have anything we might have missed. Or maybe where you think we should go in Spain, like instead, because I'm sure people have an opinion on that. What did you think in all, like Barcelona in comparison to other places?
Barcelona is like an amazing touristic city. There's so much to see and do. I really recommend overall. Like Spain, I think Spanish culture is super cool. I really like Spaniards in general. Like this, maybe because we have this Latin kind of bond. So we get each other. We are
same with the Germans, right?
We are very loud and we're very we eat much later in the day. Yeah. So I actually want to go again to Spain. It's been like 8 years since I've been there last time.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's about time to go back to see other places. I would really, personally, I'm really curious about checking the Galicia part. The Galicia part is the part just over Portugal. So like they have a little bit of Spain over Portugal. And they actually speak Spanish that's Galician is super close to Portuguese. So it's very easy to understand. I would like to check it out.
Good place for you to go then.
Yeah, it's easy for me. Maybe it's even easier than Portugal itself. Like it's not hard to go to Portugal, but their accent is very funny for us. Brazilians.
I hear this rivalry between Brazil and Portugal still going.
Yeah, we have some different words and stuff. So how silly of them to say this word for this, that kind of thing.
Is it maybe like Spanish and Catalan?
Could be, yeah. Could be, maybe.
I noticed that they said it in Spanish and I think in Catalan at the airport, the announcements, and then in English as well. I believe, at least.
I think they did too.
Yeah. What did you think about the city?
I thought it was really cool. It's really pretty. I really like the architecture. Well, the Gothic quarter was really nice. I don't know. I liked it. It was interesting.
What was your favorite part? The architecture, then, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
And the least favorite?
Getting stared at was awkward.
Oh yeah, I guess because of her hair color and stuff like that and her tattoos.
Yeah.
It was much more noticeable. Here in Berlin, no one gives a
Nobody
shit.
cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody cares here, but in Barcelona, it was definitely like.
And other tourists even commented on it. Well, they thought that you didn't understand in French and it's in Greek, right? Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would she color her hair that way?
Even the other tourists were like, oh my god, look at her.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird.
That's strange. In this day and age, like it shouldn't be that surprising anymore that people color their hair weird colors sometimes, right?
Wow.
Or like
And the weather too was unfortunate.
The weather was unfortunate, yeah. I mean,
that kind of sucked.
The one dude said like we arrived in the 1 or 2 weeks a year that Spain has where the weather is pretty shitty. And I was like, great. So I have to come back next time when there's better weather for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's what I went there for in the first place. I was like, yes, I'm going to go there for the good weather and the nice city. And yeah, but it was just a nice city, which was fine though. I still enjoyed my time there. And thanks for listening to this very long video. I'm not sure, it's probably over 40 minutes or something. I don't mind having videos that long on my channel, so I'm going to keep it there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I really don't mind. I'm going to cut the really boring parts if there's any. There's no boring parts when we talk for 40 minutes. None at all. We'll see. We'll see how much I edit out. But anyway, thanks for your patience. Thanks for watching until the end. If you did, you know what to do. Leave a like and subscribe. And also subscribe to Germanized, linked in the video description. They make very cool... Well, do you want to pitch it yourself?
If you, by any chance, is a Brazilian or Portuguese, I like Portuguese people, even though we speak funny. You speak funny.
We speak funny. You speak funny.
Just kidding, of course. I live here in Berlin with my wife, and we have a channel together, and it's called Germanizando. And it's about living in Germany, German culture, traveling, so a lot of cool stuff. If you like those stuff, if you saw this video, because you probably do, so it's going to be a nice transition for you, because then you're going to be listening to your native language. It's going to be great.
Indeed, it's going to be amazing, fantastisch, as we say in German. And if Dina has anything she wants to plug, maybe your Instagram or something like that, we're going to put that. Nope, okay, we're not going to put that anywhere. But
I mean, if you want to put it, okay.
Maybe.
But it's a private one, so.
Yeah, you are a graphic effects artist, right? Visual effects artist. So for movies and stuff like that. If you need a really good visual effects artist for your next movie, you can hire her.
Yes.
And we're going to put some business information in the video description. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.